So guys, hope you are doing fine. So today I'll be discussing a very interesting topic. So in today's market, whenever we wake up in the morning, we just see that a lot of negative news that AI is replacing humans and AI is replacing jobs. As a data engineer, data architect, and IT professionals, it is always on the top of the mind that we are going to lose the job today or tomorrow, right? So I will be just discussing top five roles, right, which basically AI cannot replace, and those roles will be flourishing with the progress of AI. So I will be going one by one, and I will allow you to keep guessing the roles, and at the end, I will have a discussions on the side that what are the key features, right, which is these roles are having, so that you can build your strategy, your career strategy, top up on that, right? Only not learning things, but learn those things which will help you to excel on those career, which have a long term career journey. So I'll start with the data architect. That is one of my role. So I will be obviously starting with that role, because I know exactly what is what in that role. Now, why AI cannot replace a data architect or solution architect, right? So, because the main reason is that if you just see in the industry, right, the key reason it cannot replace is like a data architect is not a role where you only like architect the system, data systems, or architect the data platforms, or develop up the code, right? So it is also like mm, many times communicating with customer, product managers, stakeholders, developers, right? So it's kind of a role where you are the person who will decide, right, what have to be done. And most of the time, you do some POC, you do some architecture, and you go for a presentations. You book a time with the customer, right? When they are available, as per their availability, you have to just present those design artifacts or design platforms, and business also have to be agreed. And there are a lot of elements like cost, elements like how many people you want to engage in, how your internal and external team looks, and this is more kind of a business role. So that's why I say, if you can be a data architect, it's a very promising role. It is basically a gateway for going to the executive role, because you are a person who are basically in a driver's seat, who is also part of the team who is influencing business, because business only survives, big business, especially big business survive when your IT, your strategy of data is correct in this current market. Because if you have a right AI strategy, data strategy, and the customer segmentation strategy, then only you can grow and survive. And if you can see, I've just given some of the key day-to-day activities which data architect perform. Many of them can be done by AI. So can collect database administrations or migrations, this AI can help, right? But when you say evaluate client operations, right, or building regulatory compliance, or identify where the database is needed, where data lake is needed. These kind of decisions have to be taken by you, and then it will be jointly taken with customer, business, right, stakeholders. So there you comes in. So if you're a data architect, it is very rare you'll be losing your job, and with the coming market with AI and data, you will be more flourishing. Now, if anybody can give the next role, I'm moving into that. Technical lead. This is a very promising role. When you say technical lead, he is the person who is basically, SME, subject matter expert, or last line of defense. So if customer is having any problem, they will go to the technical lead and ask questions how we can do that. So if you have a team of technical members like 10, 20, 50, the technical leader person is who is basically interfacing the customer, right? Who is interfacing the business, who is interfacing the project manager, interfacing the scrum master, right? So who is basically person who can decode the business requirements into technical terms and design technical systems, and then guide technical developers to do that. So this kind of role is very uh, promising role, where you need a lot of communication skill, you need soft skill, you need to influence people, you need to understand the aspirations of different kind of stakeholders, right? So because the person who is a scrum master, for him it is more important that my agile is making good points, right? For a project manager, it's like I'm managing the project well. For a developer, it's like if I'm learning a new technology, or building my new skill, right? And for a business, it's more like my investment in IT is making sense, I'm making profit or not. So technical lead is a kind of person who actually in between and who understand everybody's language and then convert it to corresponding delivery. So this kind of roles AI cannot do because AI is not having those sentimental elements till now with it. It's like a machine, right? So machine can think and act on a very contextual manner, but it cannot think and act 360 degree. So I will say if you are a technical lead, invest on it in any technical area, get in-depth knowledge and try to be a good communicator, good influencer for making right decisions in the business. Coming to the third point, which is a pre-sales architecture. Now, many of you know, many of you don't know that sales is a very important parameter for even IT, right? So all these big companies like the who are running their billion-dollar business, so they have to influence or they have to convince the customer that they are giving the best service, right? Or even if it's a product company, if you are only building the product and you launch into the market, it may not work. You have to go to customer premise. You have to be invited by them, and you have to showcase that what is your product can do better, so that they can save money, they can save time, or they can win over their competitors. So for business, it's not like how much good code you have wrote, right? Or how much good mathematical formulas you have applied. So they don't bother, right? So a simple Excel sheet, if it can save them say thousand $1 million compared to a machine learning code, right, which is saving say $50, so the Excel sheet will be more beneficial for them. So you have to understand from that perspective. Pre-sales architect is a person. I mean, I also did a video on top of that. What are the roles of pre-sales architect does, and what are the benefit of doing that? Because I myself have played that role many times, right? So in my career, I'm fortunate enough to work under very senior leadership. So I will also can explain that how you can, flourish yourself, and you can also help organization to grow. Because if your sales pipeline is not strong, you as a company is not going to survive. You may be building a beautiful product, or you may be giving a lot of service, but if your service is not bought or your product is not bought, you will be sooner or later bankrupt and going out of the market. So these roles AI cannot replace because it needs lot of human connections, lot of human behaviors and presentation skills. So I will say it's an architect who have an excellent communication skill and who have a excellent driving capability for CXO, CTO level meetings, right? So now the next one is this is the AI strategy consulting architect, right? So, I mean, current kind of research architect only, but currently what is happening, like initial days, we have a data architect, we have a functional architect, we have a kind of different kind of areas with SAP architect. Right now, we are seeing the AI boom where we are seeing the AI strategy consulting. So any person who have a lot of AI knowledge, tools, technology, and who have implemented a lot of AI products. So companies want to hire those guys and say 100 hours or 200 hours or 500 hours of engagement they do, and they will assess what where you can use AI, right? Where you can imply AI, or currently there is a role called forward deployment engineer, right? So FDE, which is basically they are person who basically go to the customer premise and start deploying the model, start deploying the AI strategy, right? So this kind of roles is again a lot of human connections, human communications, human decisions have to be taken, and you will be influencing those not only by technology but also by speaking to people, understanding their pain and resolving them day to day and on a quarterly basis. So this kind of AI strategy consulting or any consulting strategy roles are very good, where you have options to not only devise or solutions or coding. It is also about making things working for people, right? And uh, and this is one of the always hot role which exists 20 years before now also, and it will be there another 20 years. So it's called functional consultant. So if you are working in SAP, you are working in CRM, you are working in data AI. So if you have a domain knowledge, right? So if you have a understanding of the domain, you have a data knowledge, you have a knowledge how the industry people works, then it's a very much difficult for AI to replace it. Because yeah, there are some foundation models are coming which will basically in future will be trained on those knowledge, right? So you can say that, okay, I have a company who will develop some functional consultant agents, right? Who basically will help customers to decide on many things. So that is going to come in another 2, 3, 4 years. That's going to come because companies are aggressively coming with ideas so that they can do a lot of business. But at the end of the day, these are the roles. The all the five roles. If I just start to end, I again walk through. I say data architect, I say technical lead, I say pre-sales architect, and I say AI strategy consulting, and lastly functional consultant. So uh, what is the key feature between all these roles where AI cannot pitch in? So if you understand, all these roles need human connections, human communications, presentations, and influencing the technical or functional decisions which drives the business. And here the people parameter comes, right? So AI obviously is a good when you tell it to do something, right? But it is not about only writing the prompt and getting the things by AI done. There will be some proactiveness, right? So that proactiveness only human can show at this current moment. Because if you are a oil and gas professional who is working in this industry for last 10 years, right? And you are working with the oil and gas data, or you are a data architect who have worked on in number of data platforms and data architectures, you know what are the key pains, right? You know pipelines start failing, right? At midnight, if pipeline starts failing, what is the best way to communicate that to business? What is the best way to resolve that is technical team, right? And you know how to design the system so that the failure is minimal, right? You also understand how you can like as a technical lead or architect, you have to discuss the matters with the team, get the things done by the team, right? And then present it to customer or business, right? So those kind of human behaviors, right, which are like a soft skill, those AI cannot replicate. So my point is, like, just not only concentrate on your technical ability, like write code or designing systems, but also make sure that you are solving real problems for organizations and for people. I mean, recently I'll just give a brief story. I'm sure you like it. I was talking with one of my very senior, and then he is a accomplished person, and he made a lot of money and a lot of accomplishment for him. And he is like a master, right? So in the industry, and I was asking that you work for so many companies, you work for so many organizations, right? And you work with so many people. People loved you, right? So they want to work with you again and again. So what is the key mantra? Like what you used to follow, right? So in the age of AI, also people prefer him to look at it parallelly with AI, right? So and that's to customers. They want to pay, right? So what is the key goal of that? I mean, how you achieve that? Then he was really beautiful answer for that. He said, "See, AI is good. AI is very smarter than us. Maybe me also. Like he was telling that if you throw him a math, it will solve. If you throw him a problem, it will solve. But humans are not only appreciating the problem solving. Humans are emotional elements, and if you go to a room, you try to understand what is the problem, right? If you see the problem is not only uh, the actual technical issue. The problem maybe lies in many areas. Problem maybe the problem is like an opportunity where you connect with people, right? So suppose an example, in a typical day when you are working as a data architect, engineer, scientist, whatever, data scientist, your colleague may be sounding low. He or she may have some problem in his personal life, and you can help them, right? You can take little bit of load from them, and you can help them to pass through that day. If your manager is having a rough target, you can be help to them by doing something which align with his goal, right? So and the beauty what he mentioned, I also read the book later. You can always read the book, and the book is name is Be Useful by Arnold Schwarzenegger. And in life, you only can win over AI if you are useful, right? So anywhere, if you are useful to people, society, work, project, or organizations, right, you will be valued as members, because once you have a capability and skill to reduce problems, right, the environment will look more joyful and happy. So I think you like the video, and please like, subscribe to my channel, and I will be keep creating this kind of strategy video as well as code technical videos in data and AI space. Thank you very much. Have a nice weekend.